I had no idea that the first steps that my grandfather took were on this soil, on this island. Angel Island is a portal into the past, into memory, into the lives of these ancestors who were met with such cruelty and yet still found a way to stand in their dignity. When you showed me the barracks where my grandfather was kept, I feel very close to my grandfather here. You know, standing in the place where he first stood. This place is a place where time folds, where our ancestors speak to us and we speak to them, and then we find a way to tell the story to our children and give them not just this history of trauma and victimhood, but no, this inheritance of courage and wisdom.
Since he probably never talked about Angel Island, right? Because you didn't know that history.
He never talked about it. Like so many in that generation, I think anytime there was an experience that might have felt shameful, it's wrapped in silence. My grandfather was born in 1893, and that when he was 19 years old, he left this village with his older brother, Dal Singh. He arrived here September 22nd of 1913, and immediately he was incarcerated. Like me, most people, they have no idea what it is. And so I described to them, I'm like, okay. Ellis Island was the beacon of welcome for European immigrants on the East Coast. Angel Island on the West Coast was built specifically to detain, interrogate, and deport as many Asian Americans as possible. And so this place really was a barrier to the multiracial democracy. And I think understanding what's happening now in the context of all that history isn't a reason for shame or to contract or to turn away, but to look even deeper and say how extraordinary it is that we've been able to come so far because of our Black ancestors and Indigenous ancestors and Asian ancestors and the white folks who stood in solidarity with us. You know, the only reason we have any semblance of a multiracial nation now is because they dreamed otherwise. And I feel very close to him. I feel like every minute I'm spending here, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more of what he felt and what he saw and what he heard and how it was. And we've had so much erasure in this country, haven't we, around the ancestors of people of color, you know, especially our Indigenous siblings, like how much erasure there has been. And I'm so grateful. I'm horrified to imagine if this place had been demolished, if it had not been preserved. That's why I think it's so important to tell these stories. And it's why I believe Angel Island is so critical. It's like you preserve this sacred place where we could come and commune with our ancestors. This was on my family's fireplace. It's a piece of petrified wood, and I just love how heavy it is. The story goes, decades after Angel Island, when my grandfather was farming in Clovis, he saw his Japanese American neighbors rounded up and taken to their own incarceration camps during World War II. And in the midst of all that devastation and fear, my grandfather was one of the few who risked everything to take care of their farms so that they would have a life to return to. And he was one of the very few who went to go visit them in the camps. Oh, wow. So he visited his friends, these beautiful families incarcerated in Post in Arizona, and bringing them news, bringing them wishes for safety, bringing them hope. And on the way back from the deserts of Arizona, he brought back this petrified wood. You know, the weight of this is like, oh, this is the weight of solidarity. I mean, the only reason that we are here, Grant, is because people who had no obvious reason to love one another came together to grieve, to stand up for each other, to choose to make a way where there was no way. And I keep thinking, what if those stories of solidarity, what if those acts of revolutionary love weren't just on the margins of our history? What if those stories became who America was, who America could be?